Hey, welcome back to another episode, another impromptu episode of Unleashed Alchemy. I am Tamara Tamu here, bringing you spiritual wisdom and spiritual knowledge that will help you begin to embrace and step into, walk in your identity as a sovereign, cosmic, powerful, magical, mysterious being. Okay, so if that sounds like more of what you want to embrace and walk in and identify with, you are in the right place. Well, first of all, I want to welcome all the new subscribers. You found my channel. Comment and let me know. I'm curious to know how you found my channel. Was it just through your search on YouTube, or maybe it was from another platform? Let me know, because I'm always curious to know how people find this channel. So listen, this is an impromptu video. It's so impromptu, I'm not even using my tripod. I'm literally holding my phone, okay, with my left hand as I talk to you with my right. All right, so we have a few things that I want to talk to you about. Now, normally, if you've been around here, and if you're new here, my normal process in videos is to record. I read off notes. I actually create. It's not really a script, but it is really an outline of the things that I need to express and bring to you. All right. Now, this particular topic, I hadn't written anything out. I was going to wait, but it was on me to do it now, talk about it right now. And what we're going to talk about is how we're going to talk about a few things. Number one, you do not need to sugarcoat the way that you practice your spirituality to anyone. It is not your job. It is not your purpose to talk about your spirituality in a way that makes people feel comfortable. Spirituality is not about comfort. Spirituality is not about entertainment. Spirituality is about you stepping into your spiritual science and understanding who you are as a spiritual being. Okay? Entertainment is not included. And also, we're going to talk about how you have people that use certain words, certain phrases, and reference certain books, i.e. the Bible, not because they truly believe in it or even live from it or even walk in it. They're using that because they know that it makes the masses feel comfortable. Meanwhile, they are practicing another way behind closed doors. And most of the time, that way has been presented as demonic or evil to you. All right? So you have a lot of people sitting in churches being pimped, and they don't know that they're being pimped. That is the worst part of being pimped, is when you don't know it. All right? So we're going to talk about a few things. All right? Including those, and we'll bring those back together at the end of this video. So stick around. So the first thing that I want to say is this. You do not need to sugarcoat how you practice spirituality because you're trying to appease people. You're trying to make those around you feel more comfortable in your spirituality. Your spirituality is not about anyone else's comfort. All right? So let me give you an example. You don't have to sugarcoat if part of your spiritual technology and part of your spiritual science is to work with candles. You do not have to sugarcoat if part of your spiritual practice involves the study of the stars, involves astrology, working with retrogrades, working with the energies of the moon, working with the energies of the planets. You do not have to sugarcoat that. If astrology makes other people around you feel comfortable, that is not a you issue. All right. Let me give you another example. If a part of your spiritual being, part of your spiritual science, part of your spiritual technology is to function in this world on this physical plane as a shaman. There are many different shamans. I'm not going to get into that in this video. There are different types of shamans, but if part of your practice is to work in herbs as a shaman, to develop healings for other people, physical healings for other people, then that is what you do. You do not have to sugarcoat that for anyone. Always keep that in mind. Your purpose is to function in your spirituality with complete confidence, because that is who you are as a sovereign being. That is who you came here to express. That is who you came here to be as a sovereign being. Okay, so that's the first point. Number two, we see how many people who were once asleep by religion, who were once bound by dogma and indoctrination, and having their energy and their identity zapped from religion, we see the crumbling of that system along with other systems. We see it happening. And the thing is, the crumbling of these systems that were designed to control people, the people that it benefits, they're not going to let those systems crumble easily. They are upset. They are pissed off. You hear people say, oh, well, my, religion is being attacked, or Christianity is being attacked. I hear that a lot. I've heard that so much in the last 2 weeks. And it's not that particular religions are being attacked. What is being attacked, what is crumbling, is the idea that you think, or that some people think, that they can control other people by giving them a story that, for one, doesn't even make sense to begin with, okay? And to hand people a box and say, this is how you live. This is going to be your norm. The norm for the region that you live in, the norm for the state that you live in, the norm for the country that you live in. No questions asked. Here is the formula. That is not easy for people to be able to do anymore, because people are awakening to who they are as sovereign beings. I'm going to say that over and over and over again intentionally, okay? So what you also see happening, and this, what I'm getting ready to say next, is not anything new. And perhaps it is something that seems like it's being just brought into my awareness so much more. Perhaps I'm just paying more attention to it. Regardless, it is valid. What I see happening is that there are people that we would call public figures. I mean, they are public figures. If you get a group of people and you say, certain names, this is, it doesn't have anything to do with gender or ethnicity. If you say certain people's names in certain groups of people, 9 times out of 10, these public figures are going to be known. You'll hear someone in the group saying, oh yeah, I've heard of that person, or I've listened to one of their speeches, or I have read one of their books, or I've heard them on a podcast, or I've heard them in an interview. The point of me saying all of that is that these public figures that I am referring to, you're going to know who they are. We also see that example with politicians, but let me get back to just normal public figures, right? Because politicians ain't normal. But anyway, so what I see happening is that these public figures are being invited over and over again into churches. These churches are inviting them to come in and speak on their platforms, to provide sermons, to speak at church conferences, religious conferences, and you hear these public figures saying all the right things. What are all the right things? In some cases, these public figures will very easily quote a few scriptures from the so-called holy book, the so-called word of God, which is not that at all. You'll hear them quote a few scriptures, and then you'll hear people in the church audience hollering, screaming, clapping, because they're getting excited that this public figure has appeased them, is making them feel comfortable. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's making them feel comfortable because this public figure is now quoting scriptures. The same public figure is, using the terms and referencing the character Jesus in the Bible many times during their speech. They're talking about God in their journey, in their messaging, in whatever, service that they're trying to provide, or in the product that they're trying to sell to these masses of people. Now, let me say this before I go further. This is a side note. As a person who offers services and real soon products as well, I don't knock anyone who would use a platform as another avenue to gain more clients, to gain more buyers of their products, or to use an avenue to gain a bigger audience that would lead to more clients, more sales. Because as a business owner, that's what you look for, correct? Yes. All right. So that's not what I'm knocking here. So let's bring it back. End of side note. Let's bring it back. These public figures that are on these platforms, the disingenuousness of it all is very transparent, because you can tell that they are using certain words that are making the masses feel comfortable. And what is comfortable to the masses? If you can quote a scripture, you can talk about God as a he. That's another layer. And you can reference Jesus. That makes the masses feel comfortable, because the masses have been indoctrinated and asleep in religion for so long. So these public figures, they know that, and they know that they can say all the right things. Now, all of a sudden, they have harnessed the energy, just like churches do, just like the religious systems do. They have now also harnessed the energy of those people that are going to church. Now they have a new audience, only because they said the right things, not because they really live by that, but because they know that they can say certain words to gain a bigger audience. And it is disingenuous. It's very transparent. And that is what I feel when I see these people on these platforms. Now, I will also say this, is that I have never heard these public figures attach themselves to any particular religion, or to even say that they go to a church at all, which really doesn't matter. But I'm using that example to go back to my original point of how you don't need to sugarcoat your spirituality. And that is what I see these public figures doing, because they are doing the exact same thing that a lot of people, a lot of these church leaders are doing. They'll use the Bible. They'll say God 100 times in 5 minutes. They'll say Jesus 1,000 times in 10 minutes. because they know that that is what attracts the masses of people. Meanwhile, they are in the background, behind closed doors, really tapping into their own spiritual sovereignty and and I won't even say sovereignty, but they are tapping into the spirit realm, using the very things and the very practices in misaligned ways, the very same practices that they're using in misaligned ways. Then they come out behind closed doors, out into the open where everyone can see them. And they're telling you that the very same practices that they're using, they're telling you not to, because they've dumped it into an evil bucket. It's the same energy. And the disingenuousness of it all is the same. And I know I'm making that word up, but you get what I'm saying here. So, why am I bringing that up? Again, I go back to my first point. You do not have to sugarcoat your spirituality in order, and if you are a business owner watching this, and you are creating different ways to bring in more customers, to bring in more clients of whatever it is that you offer, service or product, you do not have to be disingenuous by only saying the right things to appease the masses. Why? Because your spirituality, your spiritual gifts, your spiritual technology has already created the avenues for you to walk in your sovereignty with confidence, with complete authenticity. And I hesitate using that word because it's overly used, but really being authentic to your sovereign being, being authentic to your soul's expression. All right? And now let me leave you with this last example. So last year, it's been about a year now, where I really started to feel the call and the pull to really dive deep into this topic about navigating life beyond religion, pulling the thread on religious operating system that can still negatively affect your life even when you don't go to church, and sharing that experience, sharing my experience, and to also help other people. I had people close to me in my family that started listening to my videos on YouTube, okay? And one of them came to me and said, well, we're getting people that are coming to us and they're asking us, what do you believe in? Talking about, referring to me. Well, what do you believe in? Because they don't hear you saying God and Jesus and talking about the Bible. And they're confused and they don't understand. So what you should do, to attract more people and to get more people to listen to your videos, just say, just talk about God, talk about Jesus, talk about the Bible. Now, there's so many things wrong with that advice, because you have someone trying to give me advice about what to talk about on my own platform. That's a different topic in itself. All right, but let's stay focused. So I listened to that and I said, because that would not be authentic to me. I don't talk about those things because that is not a part of my spiritual science. And when we talk about God, my view of God is completely different. It is not the same. And it does not include that God that's talked about in that Bible. So, and I won't give the whole conversation, but in a nutshell, I let this person know that that would not be genuine to who I am. That is not genuine to my spiritual practice. I am not making these videos to get more people. The people that this message is for, they will come across my videos in the right time when they need to. It will get to the right people. Period. Period. So this is not about entertainment. This is about loosing people, helping people to be free in their soul, in their spirit, in their mind, in their body, so that their identity as a sovereign being can be free. All right? So let me go back to my very first point now. I'm going to end this video on that, on saying what I've been saying about 20,000 times in this video. Your spirituality is not for you to sugarcoat. You do not need to sugarcoat. First of all, you don't need to explain how you practice your spirituality, and you definitely don't have to sugarcoat it. If herbal work, root work, is a part of how you practice, then so be it. And so it is. Be confident in that. If you need more confidence in who you are as a sovereign being and working in your spiritual technology and in your spiritual science, now is a good time to sign up to book a complimentary call with me so that we can talk about how I can support you in your practice. All right? So this is very impromptu video, okay? Now my hand is tired. I've said all that I need to say in this video. So until next time, keep watching. Cheers.